was #1 rated golf course in the state of California. And I'll be going out there, and I'll spend a few days out there because I have so much property out there. But it's really something that I'm doing because I enjoy doing it. And if we make money, that's great. I think we will. I think it'll be successful. And, what I do is usually successful.
Mr. Trump, you talked about 12 rounds hurting boxing. Another criticism of boxing is that there's so many different organizations and people don't know who the main heavyweight champion is. Tom, this goes to you too. UFC is considered the NFL of mixed martial arts. Do you guys envision a time where there's going to be one huge organization that you guys all merge with, or do you think that there's enough MMA to go around for everybody?
Well, I can answer that.
And is there a danger that it become like boxing with all these different...
Yeah, I can answer. I think boxing has really hurt itself with all of the different organizations. I think, the 15 rounds is one thing. There are a lot of different reasons why boxing's been hurt so badly. The matches that draw the best are 45-year-old fighters that have a name. Anybody with a name, even if they can't fight so well anymore, and, at a certain age it does happen.
Like Kimbo Slick. Sorry.
Time. I watched. It was very interesting, but it wasn't an easy fight. But it was great entertainment, and it was very good. I think that at some point there could very well be. You could make the statement, you could make the case that if you have one really big, really solid, great organization, that ultimately is the best for everybody. So we'll see how it works out. But right now we have a good company. There are probably a couple of other good companies. We'll see what happens in the future. But we have I will tell you, we have a very solid financial company.
Sir,
financially, which I think is a very important thing.
Wagering in this sport, like in boxing?
Yes.
As far as I know, they are putting lines in Las Vegas.
Excuse me, you're investing into sports right now. Does it mean you are going away from the beauty?
Beauty pageants?
Yes.
I'll never go away from that. Well, I actually own if I have my choice of kissing Miss Universe or Kimbo, I go with Miss Universe. I'll never go away. We have a great success. I own the Miss Universe pageant, Miss USA, Miss Team USA, and it's been tremendously successful. It's broadcast. In fact, Miss Universe is in July. It's all over the world.
In
It's being broadcast.
What about Russia?
And in Russia. Well, it's going, I think it might be going to Russia next year. It's going to Vietnam. It's going to be in Vietnam this season. And Vietnam is Vietnam is a hot place, and it's extremely excited about Miss Universe being there. So I'm going to try and go if possible. I'm going to try and go. But that's one thing has nothing to do with the other. But it's another thing I have.
Will there be some synergy? Will we see Miss Universe contestants as ring girls?
Well, the winner of the big fights get to make love to Miss Universe.
That's motivation.
Different pay-per-view?
But we have to get her permission. By the way, that will blow everything out of the water.
Talk about motivation for a fight.
And Tom, congratulations on putting them on the best card, the best heavyweights in the world that not a lot of people really know about. I just want to ask a question. I'm with Sirius Radio. How do you feel about Dana White, his business practices, how he runs his company, and his fallout with Affliction and TLCs?
Well, I can only say that I don't know Dana White, but I have a lot of respect for him. I think he's done a very good job. He's probably a tough cookie, and you have to be tough in business and in life. You have to be tough. But I have great respect for Dana White. And some of the people in the room might not like him. I like him, and I think he's done a very good job.
And one other question. We were talking earlier about whether it should be one big company or, whereas the NFL, you have several different teams, and teams get to trade off, just like in baseball. I think, personally, if fighters like, with Affliction and all these other, outside of the UFC, fighters are allowed to fight for different organizations and make a living. Would you think that would be something?
Well, I think over the years a lot of things will happen. I mean, this will be a much different organization. This will be a whole different sport in terms of the legalities of it, in terms of many different things, in terms of how it's incorporated. This will be a much different formula in a year from now than it is now. What it's going to look like, I don't know. How it's going to look, I don't know. But it will be different.
How do you think it'll benefit the fighters and fans?
Well, I think the fact that there's other organizations benefits the fighters. It's called supply and demand.
Yeah.
If there's one organization, you can pay the fighters $5 and they'll be happy to fight. If there's two, all of a sudden you have people bidding for the best fighters, and we have the best fighters. That's why the tickets are going so crazy in Anaheim, because we have the best fighters. I mean, we have a fighter who beat the IFL fighter twice. What is it, twice? The UFC champion.
Well, you have Fedor.
No, but we have a fighter that beat the champion, the UFC champion, twice.
Yes.
What, 3 times? Twice, right?
Twice.
That's not bad.
Fedor is on a 26-fight win streak right now,
That's correct.
and he's fighting Tim Sylvia, who was the heavyweight champion only 11 months ago.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. I mean, that's why the thing. One thing I found out about public, and I do many events, different kinds of events, entertainment. I had Elton John recently. I have Celine Dion. I have everybody. The public is really smart. If you put on an event that isn't good, for instance, if we put on a bunch of phony fighters that aren't great fighters and don't have it, nobody's going to show up. If you put on the right event and you put on the right fighters and you put on great champions, even if I maybe don't even know the champion, okay? But the public knows the champion, and that's why we're selling tickets. We're the best, it's probably the best card ever put forward.
It is on record.
Okay.
I leave you small
A lot of
direction.
questions, which is useless like that. Why can't I have more reporters like that? Go ahead.
I leave you small direction, CB Radio New York. As a businessman, have you done a lot of business with business people in Russia? And if yes, what kind of experience was that?
I've had many dealings in Russia. I have many relationships in Russia. I have great respect for Putin. I think he's done a much better job than Bush. I think Putin has absolutely wiped the floor with our president. Our president has done a terrible job. If you look at what's happened with Russia, it's been phenomenal over the last 3-4 years. If you look at what's happened with the United States, it has not been so good. So I have great respect for Russians. I have great respect. I have many Russian friends. And I have great respect for Putin. And I said so on Larry King. And most people agreed with me. I thought it was controversial, but everybody said I agree with you.
Tom?
And by the way, he wrote me a note thanking me for what I said. I was on Larry King. I said, good thing. I got a note from Putin saying, thank you very much.
He's actually a sambo practitioner as well.
Is he? Well, he can come. Maybe we can get him. Now, that would be a big fight. He can fight our Russian. It doesn't last very long, but that's okay.
Tom, I wanted to ask you, with a month and a half now out, and obviously a big splash here now with Donald Trump on board, the main source of revenue for this, I know tickets are going well, but it's a stacked card. There's a lot of high purses. Pay-per-view is the way you guys are going to make your money. What kind of marketing plan do you have moving forward to make sure you guys get this out to the non-hardcore fans?
Well, we're working with the retailers, Buckle, Bloomingdale's, and Nordstrom. They've agreed to, well, actually all of our garments have tags on it, so we're getting out that way. They're also, we're putting flyers in purchases. So we have a great relationship with them, and they're really going to push them as well.
Donna, one question. On the Beijing Olympics, which is coming up, what's going on with the press and that whole situation in New York today? Like 196 countries are involved, and they seem to be getting dogged every day. Earthquake, Tibet, etc. How would you change that?
I think the Olympics is going to do very well, and I hope he comes to Chicago in 4 years after that. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you all very much.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.